Hi everyone, and welcome to the second part of our full album review for RBL Posse's A Lesson to Be Learned, the album. This is the Classic Quest podcast, the show where we break down the hip-hop albums track by track, giving our thoughts and opinions on every single song.
All of them.
My name is Holden, Stephan Roy.
I am your lady friend Bonnie.
And the kind of albums we like to talk about here are stuff like RBL's Posse's A Lesson to Be Learned. And the reason we're doing this is because Mr. Carl used his patron powers to go ahead and request that. So if you want to support this deep dive album review format, you can check that down in the comments for more details. Plus, today, June 24th, the day we're recording this, I released a new song. The music video is up on this channel. It's called You the Man, cuz you can check that here, or you can check it on all your favorite platforms. Links in description. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. I'm super excited.
It's also Saint Jean Baptiste Day.
That's Quebec's birthday.
We're all off. We don't have to work today.
To celebrate, I purchased the opposite of Bammer soda. So let's call it Coca-Cola Bammer soda because it's full of garbage. This is blood orange soda. It's some Italian crap. Delightful. I cannot tell you how much this $3 750 milliliter, I don't know what that is in ounces, bottle is. It's super. It's just.
There you go, folks. Review of the day.
I cannot. It's just so good, man. It just stops me in my breaths and stuff. I really like that. So I just wanted to share with you the delight and joy of this blood orange soda and recommend if you see some Italian-styled blood orange soda to cop that. Anyway, we talked about the whole first 5 tracks of this album, already. We've already decided Bammer is the new word of the year. Yep. It's just such a good word.
You know what kind of year this year is? Bammer.
It's just, like, because we looked it up on Urban Dictionary.
It's our favorite now. Everything's Bammer. We joke about it all the time now.
It's been like 2 days, and then I guarantee you it's over soon. But
or
the truth is, I already started spreading the Bammer song around because there's a lot of people you got to give the message to not to give any Bammer weed, right? It's a very important message in general. Like, you got to have the good dank stuff. So I appreciated the bluntness of that track. And honestly,
there's a pun in there.
It was one of the first times in a while I'd heard a weed song that actually had some kind of a premise to it.
I feel like there was a weed song that you really liked recently.
No, but had a premise.
It's been a long time I haven't liked this.
A premise that I thought was interesting.
Okay.
Like, don't give me shit, weed. Oh, just blunt and simple. Everyone's always talking about how good, and then just this regular ass track. I don't know. It just hit me correctly. Anyway, the truth is, it's all just a lesson to be learned.
All right, let's find out.
Even if I did say the same thing on another song recently. I'm like 96% sure, but I didn't Google it. But this is a hip, hop, a hippie, whatever. That's how that song is, the same track.
Gangster's Paradise.
I know.
Wait, no, not Gangster's Delight. Not Gangster's Paradise.
Anyway.
Rapper's Delight. Rapper's Delight.
So
oh my gosh. All of it's wrong.
And and I see now when I check on Genius, it samples it, and I kind of liked it. Whereas I felt with the Brass Monkey, it was hard to get past it. This was really easy to get past, and I just kind of really liked it. And then it goes into the track, and it's real smooth, and it's nice. This is a story time song where each verse is kind of its own little subjective situation to go on about. But before I talk a lot, and somebody accused me of mansplaining for Bonnie recently, so if you guys feel I do that, I'm super sorry. I'm trying to be a better not talk a lot person. Bonnie, tell us how you feel.
Well, I like this one. It has like a classic beat for sure with the sample of Rapper's Delight. Let me get that right again. I like the scratching and the mixing. So like the DJ and like the producer or whoever like that worked together, they did a great job. Overall on like the whole album, like the producer and or the DJ is pretty great. I really liked verse 2. I'm just going to jump like right past because I'm sure you're going to explain verse 1. So I really like verse 2 with Black Sea. Verse 2 goes out to the police fucking with me. Now your ass got beef. See you started some static, you silly ass rabbit. Jacking in my hood like a motherfucking bad habit. Digging through my pockets like a motherfucking dig dug. I guess I'm a blank that you want to get rid of. It seems that way in my motherfucking hood. All you punk police always up to no good. Coming through sweating while we trying to get our GURP on, fucking up our highs, and we're sitting in a drug zone. But you done did this the last time to me. See, now I'm gonna gather up my motherfucking posse. Them crazy ass blanks, them crazy ass crew, them crazy motherfuckers with the steel toe boots. Anyways, it just kind of goes on like that. It's really just about fuck the police, it's kind of screw you, and kind of how they're targeting them, and how they're always thinking that they're doing something bad or doing something illegal when they can just be hanging out, chilling, doing nothing, just minding their own business. And they just basically want police to fuck off and die and leave them alone, and that you're stressing them out and causing stresses on him and his society and his area or whatever. And watch your back, because someone's gonna finally get you. And so it's kind of pretty relevant to today.
Well, it's more they're gonna come get you.
Yeah.
And it's because the follow-up part is because they gathered up the whole crew, his crazy steel, whatever, and then they're strapped, they're coming through, and they're coming for the police, because at the end of the day, you've pushed them to the point of almost this rebellion.
Yep.
Which, in a sense, is literally what we're seeing happen with all of the stuff going around the world. Maybe not quite as violent, but that's just an expression. But
I think this, movement or whatever has obviously been going on for decades, essentially, and it's just had its, ups and downs, and this is definitely a time where people are really kind of sticking to their guns, so to speak. And I think it's great, and I think it's another chance to hopefully change the system and mess with the police and mess with the justice system and the whole kit and caboodle, as my mother would say. So, and then we have the very fun, very catchy, bitch, I thought you knew.
There is a whole third verse before that.
Yeah, you're going to talk all about it. I'm just going to talk about this. And it's very fun. It does kind of get annoying after a while, because it just really keeps going. It just keeps going on and on and on.
It never gets annoying.
It's catchy, but it's fun, and you're kind of how much can I listen to? But it's good.
Here's the answer. You could loop that for 10 minutes, and in my opinion, because I just feel it, right? I feel the energy
on the mood that you're
and
in,
the sentiment of this, right?
If somebody had just done something that you were "Ha, you're so stupid," or whatever. I feel you have to be in that moment.
So being alive today in 2020.
I guess. Sure. Yeah. So anyways, I give this one a 4.25. It's good. It I feel it stands out a little bit less than some of the others.
What?
But it still has an important message. What?
That is crazy talk to me, in my opinion.
So. I don't.
You're allowed to feel what you want to feel.
It's still a good grade.
I'm happening to completely disagree. First of all, that first verse is banging.
Let's hear the whole thing.
It's just banging. I mean, from the flow perspective, I touched on it a lot. I want to just point out that they're really versatile. Every single track has almost this different sound to it in terms of the specific influences it pulls from, the samples they use, and they're really adaptable in their style. Everything still has that rugged, blunt, it just feels blunt, really hitting you in the face in the way they hit the beat, but they always hit the flow in just the right way, that if it needs to be a little quicker here, it will be. They need to slow it down here, it will be. And they're versatile. They're not the kinds of dudes who are I have to rap on that kind of beat or else. Nah, they just got real understanding of this shit. Anyway, they also do I love this. I just love how quick the rhymes are. Hip hop on the motherfucking jock is the Black Sea, and I rock non-stop with the Frisco crew, and suckers are losing. Fucking with me, I'll catch a steal to a boot in, and just the way they losing to boot and. I really like that. I like those little trickiness. I mean, it's obviously to a lot of people it's probably stand out, but the fact that they're able to use the word and as like a grammatic, because keep in mind, boot and right to the jaw, that's like a fully complete sentence from like a grammatical point of view, and they're able to use the word and in a way that was both filler to fit the rhyme and make it work, but still fit the grammar. And I think that from a writing perspective, it's a little more of an impressive point of poetry. Anyway, it's pretty harsh, so you smash you in the face and stuff. RBL, that's ruthless by law. Thank you, because you know what? It's nice to know it when you break it down. Instead of just like, because sometimes like the rappers come through and they're like, you already know. And I'm like, no, I really don't know. This is the first fucking literal time I've heard a track by you. So RBL, it could have been a lot of things. It really could have been like really big lasers. It is not. It's ruthless by law. And to be fair, Google told me that before this, but still, I'm appreciating that, because 97 me, if I was old enough for this, because I was not, I was 10, would not have been able to just easily discern what RBL stood for without that little helpful hint.
There you go.
Anyway, this posse's coming through, and I kind of just like how the rest of this verse is just more like, you know, if you come for us, we'll take you out, because at the end of the day, you know, hoes are on his nutsack, his money's proper, he didn't have to do anything shady or whatever to get where people are at, he just did what he did. And when you sell crack, people come in funny crowds. Everything's kind of weird. And I don't know. If you don't have money, people are going to flip it up and come at you. And so you get the sense that, again, it's from an environment where it almost acts like a precursor to the police force, right? So he's got his squad. He's coming through. All sorts of drug dealing is going on. And almost the volatile nature of how the people who are broke and fiending and shit play out. It's like you got to be careful with the situation, because people will come at you. And then simultaneously it flows into what you pointed out with the police, where it's again, the rhyming is just really good, because everything is like, you know, the silly ass rabbit, bad habit, and then like a motherfucking Dig Dug. And I was like, what the fuck's a Dig Dug? And then I realized I've played Dig Dug's Descendants, okay? So Dig Dug is an arcade game where you and you dig dug around the fucking map, and you're a guy who shovels in. The Dig Dug premise still exists in mobile games and shit today. Like it's lasted, the idea of it, but like it's a 1982 arcade game according to Wikipedia.
There you go.
But I really like the attack on the police and shit. Like, it kind of shows, like, they've got, like, this versatility of subject matter. Like, think about it. I Ain't No Joke is weed as shit. Intro is how to be, like, you know, the black community coming together and gaining strength. More like an orgy, a very unique posse cut. And, hey, we're not gay in San Francisco. Don't Give Me No Bammer. I mean, straight up is the weed one. Bitches on the ding dong. We're still not gay, but we got girls. Fair enough. Because I'm bringing that up because we know it's coming. There's at least one more that's very clearly, we like women in San Francisco, please believe us. It seems to be like a running narrative, and I actually kind of get it, right? You know how come I get it? Because all the dumbass shit I hear about Quebec when I leave Quebec in Canada, just the dumbasseries, the stupid questions, the assumptions people make, like fucking a random blog article is enough to like give somebody an impression of an entire region. Because somebody said, the people of Quebec are this. So then all of a sudden a whole like neighborhood can believe that about a place. And it can be like because you encounter it and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. So imagine everyone's calling your place gay. And then I understand, sort of, like not with a lot of detail, that there is entire like weird situations relating to slave times where like homosexuality was weaponized as an effort to like demasculate men. So you add like elements of that deep bred complexity to the situation, and like for like the one time I've ever really come across, I actually kind of get why they're doing it.
Right.
Like it isn't just random, whereas most of the time it's fucking random. And it just feels weird, and it's just kind of an offbeat. This is more like, yo, y'all really believe some shit here that we are trying to rectify on the record. Stop putting us in your fucking bucket. And I'm an Anglo in Quebec. I kind of get that.
Yeah.
Regardless to what your personal ethics may be on the subject of homosexuality, it's more why somebody might come to that conclusion. Anyway, that's not what this song is. I was just kind of impressed again on like the versatility. And then we get to this track where it's like straight up, our life is complex. The police are harassing us. And then Mr. C comes through. And what's really cool about Mr. C's verse is they do this weird pitch shifting doubly shit that they don't really do anywhere else on the album. But when you consider auto tunes and all the stuff later on, it was really these like early efforts of, I guess, fucking with voices that would have led to a lot more of the creative shit. Like imagine Eminem and DMX and all these dudes if it wasn't for guys like them way back in 92. And I'm sure there's 80s and stuff, older versions of this. But still, like from a history perspective, all these people built on it and moved towards the future of where we ended up with guys like Future and their auto-tune. And it's interesting. I bet like it would be cool, and you might see this video in the future, just to do a history of effects on hip-hop vocals and the trends, how it all evolved. Anyway, Mr. C's verse is really just kind of whatever. He's Mr. C. He's like standing on the harbor trying to sell my crack sack, stressing my mind from thinking, will I get jacked? But if you're scared, go to church, because ain't no fear in my heart. I'm still yelling at work. People trying to run wild, thinking they on hit. Getting too greedy, get you gaffled in the mix. So in a sense, you have like Black C, who's kind of repping maybe like an innocent bystander. And then you have Mr. C being like, nah, man, I'm out here doing this, and this is the anxiety and the situation on my mind. And then you have the cops kind of like harassing you and taking all your shit. And the next thing you know, you're going to jail and whatnot. And, you still got to be careful. But at the end of the day, you got to go make your money. So here's a lesson to be learned. Like, I must be careful with it.
Yep.
And then, so they're obviously moving in their direction. And then, in my opinion, you get something where, like, I'm picturing the live show. You could run this for 5 minutes doing random lines between it. Like, everybody! Bitch, I thought you knew. Bitch, I really thought you knew. Bitch, I don't know. I loved it. I could sing it for a minute straight. I never got bored. I played it to the end. I was ready to rewind and go again. I think it's a really strong hook. I think at the end of the day, when you deal with dumb motherfuckers, you just are left with the sentiment of, bitch, I thought you knew. Bitch, I really thought you knew.
Yep.
There's a lesson to be learned, right? Because, I mean, every one of you watching is just, I don't care. Sometimes you might be the dumb motherfucker to somebody else's story, but that don't mean there are not dumb motherfuckers in your story. And so you all get it. And I think in the 2 little lines there, they have encapsulated the emotion of humans. Frustrations with others, and I really enjoyed that. I thought this is one of the best songs on the project, and I give it a 4.75 on 5.
All right.
Anyway, G's by the 1, 2, 3s. This is like a 6-minute long song. I am pretty sure that the intro is the beatmaker guy, and the first verse is the beatmaker guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he says he was not drunk as he's blurping up his alcohol in this part. But he was drunk when he made the beat. Relevant information.
Okay.
Fair enough. Then we have, what's cool about this is Midtown and Harbor Road meeting up. I'm going to assume that the significance of this is related to some gang shit and being in different hoods and the collaborations of people from different places looking past neighborhoods. Now, why I say that is because the guy who requested this video, Mr. Carl, he recommended, and I'm just looking this up for a second, this video that I watched a little sentiment of. Give me a second, y'all. JT the Bigger Figure. And he sent me this link, and one of the things I thought was remarkable was how JT the Bigger Figure was commenting a bit at the beginning of this video on how Black C and Mr. C were almost like setting a tone and a way of doing shit and being cool with the Bammer weed, and how the language of this music seemed to transcend the specific nuances of the dramas between different neighborhoods and things like that, and how it made me just maybe realize, so when we get to this lyric, like this might be like really significant for like the local politics of an entire environment that I don't fully get. Like, I mean, I've never ever had to live in an area where crossing the street is dangerous.
Right.
And like, as I understand certain parts of it, it's like when you look at gang maps and then you actually Google Maps how like significantly like whatever, it's like depending on, and I know this is maybe just some places or whatever, and this is Google and whatnot, but it looks like sometimes going to the grocery store might mean you cross through 3 places where people might try to kill you. And that's a reality that I think is trying to be conveyed throughout this project. And that might be part of that lesson. So anyway, at this point, you get the 2 places syncing up because Twist Totally Insane is from that other place and whatever. They're from Harbor Row. And so anyway, what do you think about this song?
Yeah, I don't know. I found like it was kind of gross, like the guy like drunk and like burping at the beginning, but you know, whatever. It is what it is, I guess. We've got nice mixing again with this one. You know, them just sort of being like, if you talk shit against them, they're gonna like kick your ass or they're gonna kill you, and they're just, you know, sounding tough. They're trying to sound tough, I guess. And they're, you know, talking about smoking weed in the ghetto and like how the cops are after them. And it is a bit more of like a story-driven one, and like there are a few people. I get confused as to who's who, but like they're like each kind of like telling like a story, you know, on this one. And like I also like the samples on this one. Before I forget, I wanted to remember that. And this one is like sort of also about just like how great they are and like how like they kill it when they're making music. And you know, if you don't believe it, just like they're gonna prove you wrong. Like, so, you know, like if you challenge them or whatever, like they're gonna win. And it's interesting like that there's like those 2 sort of messages, like sort of like that, you know, ghetto hood sort of topic and like the, you know, being the best rapper, and like how like that's kind of like mixed together, like you know, like the street toughness and all of that together. I don't know, I thought it was cool. And I also one of them says, I think it's on like the second to last verse, can't remember which one it is, I think it might be Totally Insane, basically appreciate life, you know, and you know, just because you never know like how precious it is until it's gone. And you know, like just be happy to be free and like living still, because you know, you never know when things might happen. It sounds kind of like he just saw someone or you know, someone close to him maybe like passed away or was shot or something like that, unexpectedly. And yeah, it's good. The title is like fitting, considering that they say like G's to the 1, 2, 3 like a lot. They like the repetition, I guess. So I give this one a 4.3 on 5. It's good. I like it.
What I thought was interesting is how each verse is just like isolated on this track. Like there's not really
there's no continuity.
It's just everybody had what they had to say. So like, you know, in the first verse, which Genius says is TC. If it's not, I don't have better details. There's not a lot of info on this one. You can tell it's 4 people though, or like it's distinctly that. So the pole bummy ass Mac is back on the scene. Bitches trying to get me for the cream. Brothers on my nuts because they too blind to the mind of on the grind. And then he kind of moves on through this verse where people don't seem to treat him properly. He's out there trying to work, trying to do his thing. You know, a person seen action, told me the first time pay me you get served, didn't leave knowing you got your manhood taken. Then I hit the spot, I told you it gets hot, now you know that shit has just been cooking. And then people have a little bit of complications and it escalates to being a victim of a homicide and bad situations like that. I don't know, it just kind of sounds like people misunderstood what he was capable of, and he proceeded to retaliate in a way that was fitting to the environment, or perhaps he just got taken out or whatever. That's fine. I liked it. I thought it fit. I thought his flow was proper. Yep. Everything flowed out. Mr. C comes on the next verse. He's rapping, you know, he doesn't really fuck up, which is fair, man. He doesn't have to have any beeps, and he has no blunders, and he does it right. And he comes through, and I just really enjoyed it, you know, bouncing around like, oh, is this tequila? I was getting so rich, I'm going to change my name to Mr. C Note. And I'm like, that's a good line. It just has a fun freshness to it. Mm-hmm. It's not like overly deep. It's super enjoyable. And then, you know, because Nike want to do it, it was like already done. So get a blute to the glute dance, and if not, get strangled, body strangled, thrown in a truck, cup of mango, and then he smokes dank though, and etc. And it just kind of feels like this whole energy of this wild guy who's out there making his money by any means and deals with the competition accordingly. And again, I like how it's always like when people come to him are not playing the right, and it always just seems like somebody always fucks the game up. And I don't know who that person is, but it always just feels like everybody's playing the game right and then somebody fucks the game up. I don't know who it is, because in all these guys' songs, and again, I'm not one who understands the game, but you never really hear the song about how that person really fucked the game up.
Okay.
I would like to hear the rapper that admitted to being the guy that fucked the game up. That would be an interesting change of pace in general. But no, this is really good shit. Totally Insane's verse is the least well rapped, in my opinion. Like, his flow's fucking off on points where it's really weird. Maybe I'll get used to it. But it was my least favorite vocal performance, but the fucking most interesting lyrically, right? So he's coming through. He grew up in a place where everybody's ganged up and everything's fucked up. And, you know, it's like people are like, he's just kind of like, people are colorblind because I grew up with these fools. Like, how y'all caught up there? We all come from the same place. We all grew together, you know? We went to the old school. He went across me. I thought I knew him. Now next time I see him, I have to shoot him. So it's like, how do you grow up with somebody and then get to a point where they fuck the game up? And again, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just kind of what it is. I don't understand the environment or the complexities of it, or maybe that's just, it just seems so stressing to even just try to like ponder how hard that is. Stresses me, and it makes me wonder a lot about the realities of coming from an environment like this at this time when shit was real fucked up, right? Anyway, so, you know, he's drinking to keep from being nervous, which is another interesting line. So if you're always drunk, imagine the escalations that come. He's got his Glock because of whatever could happen. The police are searching him. They're bringing evidence, which implies like this fake shit, you know. So he's got these, you know, out there trying to watch for other people. His life is like a scene out of Colors, which is a movie with the gang violence and whatnot. And then one time the police kick through the mama door, and he gets like a whole situation. They seize everything, take the house, but he's balling. And then he said he would help her. She's wearing silk and leather in a homeless shelter. God gives you a life when your life is torn, and now how it is when you live in the ghetto storm. But that really struck me, right? Like, people really get to that point of materialism and confusion where it's like, how could you like end up where your mom is balling out in a homeless shelter? I mean, sure, it's a nice gift that you took care of her, but really, did you? You know, and I really like questioning it, how it looked in that. I don't know. That verse really hit me from a content perspective. And then Black C's here, and you're like, fuck, this is a 6-minute song, eh? So they don't make them like this anymore. We weren't built with the 6-minute rap songs like y'all were, into old cats watching this. But that's cool. He basically just says the same kind of shit. I don't know if I'm just scanning it now to see if there's anything in particular that I think was like over the top for him. But scandalous bitches out here scheming like demons. You better get a grip before your ass kiss the semen. That's dirty. I never heard anybody say that. But you know what? Hold on. Because that means basically you're going to get fucked over with your scandalous criminal behaviors. You're going to get sent to jail where you are going to get bareback, fornicated and penetrated, and your bumhole is going to encounter the semen of a man that is enjoying your bumhole in jail.
But not in San Francisco exclusively.
But how cool is that way you wrote it? You better get a grip before your ass kiss the semen. I never heard that before. That's a really creative way to put it. Already through the maze put by the white man. Bring that back to the ghetto circumstances of the crime-induced life that's forced to due to the bad circumstances. Ooh. Some good lyrics is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Thinking black women want to give them a hand, I can't give a fuck. I'm still do them switch up on a bitch quick, so ho, press your luck. Back into that part of the whole thing because it's G shit, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. I like this track. I thought it was fun to listen to. It is a little lengthy, so I give it a 4.25. But like from a bars perspective, it's proper. Part of it too is the beat. I can't describe why. I just didn't really like it as much as some of the other beats. Anyway, y'all can remind me why we're doing this. This song is fucking cool. But again, it's San Francisco is not a place full of homosexuals.
That's
Let me
right.
tell you a story about how San Francisco guys treat some women.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally this track.
Yep.
Let's get this whole verse from Mr. C at the beginning. Well, first of all, you're in the intro. I'm in the house chilling, whatever. Yo, let me tell you a little story of how we kicked out, you know? And then Mr. C is like, I'm bored as fuck. I just finished grinding. I peeped my watch. I had to spend time. So I told Black Chris, let's jump in the Fiverr to find us a bitch. All right, the scene is set. Black C, Mr. C in the car. They going through. So they're rolling around. They see some high roller freaks, which is basically people that are hotties that had a case of the good kind of thickness that was like the night, like 100% beef that was lean. I was like, fair enough, because that's saying it's all like muscly shit, but lean muscles.
Healthy fat.
It's really like well describing a woman's body using cow language,
I guess.
but done in a way that I thought was really actually well done, describing it proper. Anyway, so they jumped out and one screamed RBL and the other said oh yeah, and then I know it'll be easy. That's fair. If girls recognize you with the groupie face, they're gonna know it's easy, because both of them hoes was anxious to start skeezing. I'm like, fair enough, you lucky fellows. You went out looking on the prowl for some ladies, jumped out the car, and some groupies recognized you. Anyway, and then everyone was happy, and they're like popping with two fine peoples, and they got a little drank and drunk. Off to the freakies they go. It's the Frisco version of a sex sideshow, but the only ride done was on my dick. I actually got a crew, so I don't fuck with no clicks. Hey. But basically he was banging the chick, and then I guess he's not bringing in all of the posses except for his boy, you know. Either way, in plain words, if you're lost, I don't do no licking. I don't eat vaginas, right? Because manly shit, we don't eat no fucking pussy. Because I'm straight for the toss, pulling up my ding dong.
I think it's favorite.
Commenced to screw, and since I was younger, she thought I didn't know what I was doing, but like a vet, I took control. Been there, done that. It is fun to blow the mind of some older chick, and she's like, you're like 21, and you're not, and they're 18, right? I've kind of been there too. It's fun to be real young and blowing the mind of older ladies. They're like, wow, men my age don't know. Oh, it's the best. I'm too old for that now. Now I'm the old guy. I don't know, 50.
Things happen.
50 doesn't seem as fun. So that's old. I don't want to. I'm just thinking about it, okay? I'm thinking about it. You know?
All right.
It's relevant, okay? He brought it up.
Sort of.
Anyway, so he goes through, he takes control, and then when it's done, he's got to, like, bounce out. But she didn't get hooked on no rice. She hooked on his meat. Get it? Because that's the real sustenance, his dick. Anyway, Chris got him at 11 o'clock. We got to go to Harbor and do their jobs. He's like, I ain't got no time for play Captain Save-A-Ho. And I'm like, this is so good, man. Took her number and then whatever. He's like, would I ever call her? Would I just diss her? I told her like this so I could remember. And then the chorus comes in. Remind me how lucky I'm falling in love with you, darling. Is that what he said? I don't know. It was so weird.
Yeah. I was a little bit confused.
Anyway, there's a little interlude, and they're basically, we're not gay. Perfect, understood.
Again.
Then he's like, oh, I got with that chick, the other chick, let me tell you about my evening.
They all have to prove how many times that they've had sex with women just to prove that they're not gay.
Yeah, but basically one of them smashed one girl in the first part. Now we're moving on over, and the beat changes, and he had to come through with his gangsta lean, right? So it slows down, and he comes through. He's like, I just met the bitch who had to rub my nip to get a chance to slap her with the Disnick. And I'm like, I guess it has to work, right?
Yep.
Like it has to work. I mean, if I were to walk up to a girl and be like, I want to slap you with a Disnick, no chance in hell it would ever work.
Probably not.
Has to work for some people, because so many people rap like this. This is the fucking
This is
move.
the way to do it, folks.
In my life, it's never been the way to do it. Anyway, yeah, that's right. Let the lie be the reason I was gurping like fucking the ass I was fiending like a dope fiend junkie. Oh dang, can't think she was giving up the monkey and that pussy was hitting, especially when we jumped to the doggy style position. I jacked that ass like a criminal. So let me understand this. He's pounding the pussy doggy style, doing his thing, and then he did a little slip up to the next hole and stole his way into that level of home base. So slip, oops, wrong hole. Douche. Anyway, you gotta let her know because he jacked it like a criminal. That means it's sneaky and it doesn't sound so consensual. That's all I'm saying.
And it's in the place where you would get it if you were in jail.
So he dicked her down, but you don't really hear me though. Hey, we did that on the last time. Anyway, so then he's jumped out, whatever, he was done. He was fucking till morning, and he worked up an appetite, and he's hungry now. So he called Mr. C, who's in the next room. They have a little phone call. Then they leave, and they go and get food, and he called the freak once, and it's like, listen, can't see you that often. And she's like, I'll be loyal to you, sir. And he's like, okay, when I'm in town and I can. And then he fucked her for a little bit, but she moves to New York.
Yep.
And he meets her 20-year-old aunt.
I was confused by that.
Fair enough. And then he starts fucking the 20-year-old aunt. And you can't judge him, because how could you expect him to go to New York?
And they practically look the same. So, and it's like, but he's still with the girl in New York.
Can't judge him, though.
No.
Anyway, 4.5 on 5. It is a brilliant, fun song.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, it's really smooth, and they let you know that at the very beginning. And yeah, that's basically it. It's Mr. C and his buddy, Black Chris, in case you were confused, are bored, and they go lady hunting. And, you know, they're so hot, and, you know, ladies should be so happy to get them and whatever. And, you know, find some ladies that want to have some fun that are from like out of town, and he, you know, points out the fact that he doesn't go down on any ladies. And yeah, and that's that. Then he finds the lady who thought that he would be inexperienced because he's so young, but he took control and did a great job, according to him.
So how do 50-year-old women perceive 32-year-old men? Is it the same kind of thing? Do they assume we don't know how to do their jobs, or do they think we're like really not? Like, where do we fit into the spectrum of older women to young? Because it's not a talked about subject. You're bringing this up again. Yes, I am. I am a shithead. Go on.
So, you know, he'll forget about her basically and won't call her, but will remember that, you know, fond time that he had with her that one time when he was banging her. And, you know, basically they're just telling sex stories, and then, you know, like halfway through, like you said, there's like a whole like beat change, and like just like the overall sound is different now, and then we get another sex story, and like these like kind of like awkward sound effects, but like they work, like the like super like 1990s like phone ringing when like one of them calls the other one, like it's really like you haven't heard that in a while, like, or if you're younger than, if you were born in like, you know, 2000 onwards, you probably don't know what those old phones sound like, maybe. So he, yeah, like you said, he ends up banging some chick, you know, and she moves to New York, and he still, you know, gets to be with her, but he's like, well, she's in New York, so, you know, different area code, you know how the rule is, like Ludacris said. Yeah, so he bangs her aunt, who looks like her, but he's still with her, the other girl. I don't know. Yuck. I don't know how I feel about that. But I mean, it's just like honest, true sex stories. I mean, these things happen, I guess. So it's all right. I give it a 4.25. Just, you know, decent little stories.
All right. Are you ready to move on with this review? Do you think? Yeah. Do you think
I think you're sort of a psycho.
Like a psycho. Yeah. Like. There's the word like. That's right. Best. I like the beat on this one. It's got like this head boppiness to it, like a real drum beaty kind of rolling through, a little bass line like doo, kind of just like playing underneath, and then the chorus kind of builds in. It's really sparse. It's really nice, and I notice it because the last couple weren't that.
Right.
And again, the production on this album is super varied. I know we barely talk about production here, and that's whatever, but I just think it's really well done. It's really reminiscent of like the time, but done in a way where it isn't like the shitty dated sounding stuff. Like, it really is just, you could throw it on in a car today and it's still gonna pop. You know, it's really well made production, just for the beat side of things. What do you feel about this song?
Yeah, I mean, this one is about how kind of like wild they can be, and like how dangerous they can be, and you know how they have guns, and you know, like if necessary that they can sort of act like a psycho. And like one of them wants to be called like Charles Manson for how crazy he is, which is really not cool. Like I tried reading a few years ago Helter Skelter, which is like all about the story of like him and like his like killing that he did, and like I could not get through it, and like I just couldn't even. Yeah, I don't even think I got a quarter of the way into the book, and I was like, nope, I can't do this. It's already giving me nightmares. Can't do it. So that's how I feel about that. So I don't know why you would want to be associated with that. So yeah, it's, I mean, it's a nice beat. And nice mixing, like you said. I think the production is really great on this one, and the DJ or the mixer or like all of that or both of them or whoever it is, great job. I don't really have too much to say about this one. It wasn't my favorite one, but it was still like decent. It was nice to listen to. Like, it's not terrible. I give it a 4 on 5.
I think one of my favorite parts of this is in the beginning. Also, just to respond, because they're trying to be psychos. That's why they associate with it. It's some psycho shit, right? So
I get that. It's like the same reason like Eminem talks about it, and like, you know, a whole bunch of them.
Sort of like a psycho. I just might go. Sprayed a whole town because it's schizo. Little freaky deeks try to save a mean, but I sprayed a punk ass with an Uzi machine. What you gonna do that shit for? And that was funny. Lay your punk ass on the floor since you want to be Captain Save-A-Ho. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. Is that a cap gun? No, it was my motherfucking Mac. I mean, it's blunt and it's hard.
Yeah. I
enjoyed, in particular, the idea that he's a psycho. He's kind of going out there and attacking people. But why? Because you trying to be the dumb motherfucker that's trying to save a hoe. You making us look bad. It's almost like that's the guy that's fucking up the game. The fucking Captain Save-A-Ho. And if you think about it, I bet you could probably go that many, many dumb choices in life have been made because some guy was just trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho.
Right.
Meaning spending exorbitant amounts of money, time, and effort to pursue some hoe that doesn't appreciate him nor is worthy or deserving of his time.
Yep.
Captain Save-A-Ho.
And often, I'm just gonna say, those types of guys that like want to like save the girl and like want to be like the like the knight in shining armor. Often those guys end up being like friended. Like nobody wants to like actually be with them. Like maybe like a one-time thing. Like once the girls get saved, but like. They're not genuinely
feel
interested
bad
in
when
that.
you're like, oh shit, he spent like $1,500 on me. Maybe I should give him a head.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like it's not like genuine. It just kind of feels like, anyways, fake or like not real.
So what we're hearing is Bonnie's been there. Anyhow,
I mean, you live, you learn, right?
And then it goes, it's motherfucker, please, since you're into my motherfucking penis, once you drop to your motherfucking knees, bow, wow, wow, yippee, yo, yippee, yay, bark like a dog, and just make my mother, like, it's fucking bold. It's like, you can just picture him with the gun. Oh, you all riding my dick? Get down on your fucking knee. Oh, bark like a dog. Oh, you think you a big man now. You think you a big man. That's what I'm picturing in that.
Okay.
Anyway, you don't picture that as he's describing this? Like, what is he literally... Like, think of what he's saying. You know, like, that is the scene he's painting here. Because he's a fucking psycho. Boom, boom, boom. I watched a head fall off. Then I hit the guts with my motherfucking sawed off. Seems excessive to waste ammunition.
I can see, like, the...
But it's like, you already blew his head off. Why we gotta waste these excess bullets also blowing his guts out?
I think it's just for, like...
Duck while the body rap. Still on the plot, but next time I use my motherfucking Glock. Why? You just used all the excessive shit. I guess I'm more discreet. Anyway, then you got the next verse where, it's kind of same kind of shit. I really enjoyed, though, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a bitch a crack sack. I don't know why, but when they took the nursery line, and I guess, give her some crack while I'm up in the cuts blowing off a back. But it ain't no thing. My bitch in the dope gang, and I got a ride killer, maintain my motherfucking beeswax. Finna get taxa, going mad, bang bang. They call me Mad Max, motherfucking. Anyway, it really is just that for like the rest of the song. Y'all get the point on how good it is. I can't say that there's a whole lot more lines in this that like popped out at me were like excessively done, because it is more a lot of excessive wordplay tricks like, bitch, give me some motherfucking zigzags, ho. Now I got my zigzags, 40 ounce, I'm watching Mad Shoes, all muddy in pants. And I'm like, okay, it sounds real good. The rhyming never stops flowing in such a way where you feel that it breaks rhythm or patterns, but there's a lot of good sounding filler in that regard. Like, it just sounds good. And not to take away from the quality of the writing, I think it's really well done. I'm just saying my ability to really comment on it. Anyway, that's fine. I give this one a 4.35. I like it a little bit less than the ones I was giving higher grades, but it's still a really good song to me. And yeah, I guess it's all just a part of survival.
That's right. I was going to say the same thing.
I would like to also give credit to the fact for the production that a lot of these songs are long. Like the last 3 or 4 that we've talked to are well over 4 minutes, 2 of them pushing 6. And the way these beats are constructed is they seem to tap into that groove element, like the original breakbeat groove idea, I think, where they can come up with it, strip it down for the vocals and what they ended up doing with that shit. But you really just feel these beats that play over and over again. And especially in this one, I put it on Bunny, just started dancing. Why? Because it really taps into that. And the whole way through this album, part of why in the other thumbnail I was all like that was just because to me the whole album just feels like something you can dance to and to vibe to. And while you are getting these gritty lyrics and these fun flows, the flows are also kind of invoking you to want to move. They're done in such a way where it feels like, in a sense, the way they rap is dancing on the beat a little bit more than normal, like other flows that you would hear from other folk. So I really enjoyed that level of it. But what do you think about this song?
Yeah, I definitely like the beat to this one. It right away has that like danceability to it, like, and it's got like that kind of clap along like beat, and like you want to be like, whoa, like it just like you just want to start dancing like right away. It's a lot of fun. I like the first verse. We've got Black Sea on it. I believe in dead. They're dead on arrival because in the projects it's part of survival. That's the problem. Got a lot of reasons. Because like every day feels like drive-by season, prostitution and drug abusing. No wonder why my city is in so much confusion. Then I thought about getting a job. Oh hell no! I'd rather roll and hit with the hit squad.
How positive and happy sounding is the music under those lyrics?
Yeah, like that's exactly it. There's like such like that like juxtaposition to like the sound versus like what they're actually talking about and like the reality of what it is. And like it ties in like very well into like the intro and like what they're wanting to say and like how things really are difficult, especially at this time with drugs, being a black man, like these struggles, like these are real struggles. And like that's like what we heard at the very intro, and we're hearing it now still at the very end of the album. And you know, and like their reality is that they have to be careful and step gently and kind of try not to you know, start anything, you know, or get any enemies, for, you know, or anything, because they know that it's a reality that they could be killed. Like, you know, just a drive-by could happen just like that, and like you or your buddies or your family or whoever could get shot, and like, you know, nobody's excluded from that. It's, you know, anybody who's around, and it could be really anybody. It could be you, your grandma, it could be your dog, it could be anything, right? So I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. So, and then in the second verse, Mr. C is telling us about the fact that he had to sell drugs, and that's all he ever thought that he could do, because he just never was given a chance to have those like hopes and dreams of, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like that just wasn't like his reality, and like that wasn't like, you know, what he saw and like what was available, and like, you know, like maybe like people, I don't know, it was just like crazy, and it's just like, you know, really awful and sad that people have to live like that, and that they're just not given any, like, they're not able to have like any hopes and dreams besides being, you know, being like a drug lord or whatever, you know, like that just, or, you know, it's that or jail or death, like those are your options, and like that sucks. And again, like, you know, this is, you know, he's talking about like as a black man, like that he he knew that like his choices were to either end up dead or in jail, and he's kind of come to like accept the reality that he's living, and like that just it just sucks that that's like what society has allowed him and millions of others to just have to deal with, like since they're a kid. Like that's just how they grow up, and that's just what they believe and what they know. And they have to carry a gun as part of like the survival technique, just because you never know what's going to happen, who's going to try to shoot you or whatever, like what situation you're going to end up in, and because you are involved and living in sketchy areas, and maybe doing sketchy things if you have to survive. Just a lot of shitty things that are difficult to just like understand that that's actually happening to like people right now. It's still happening, right? Like the people are still living like that, and hopefully there's less and less of that, but of of this like mentality, and that things have gotten better since 1992, but there's obviously given the time and what's going on and everything else, and racism, and just like it's just like that mentality of like white people's stereotypes of black men that like cause all of this. So I don't know, it's just kind of wild. So and it's just like very interesting because it has like such a fun, danceable, enjoyable beat. So like if you didn't listen to the lyrics, it would be it's just so much fun. Like you wouldn't even think anything about it. But then if you listen to the lyrics, you're like, whoa, shit, like this is like legit, right? Like what he's talking about, like his like their own like, experiences.
It's almost like a clever ploy to trick you into hearing message.
Yeah, for sure. And that's probably it. And like that it's, it's good. It has a nice beat, but even more than that, it's like a huge reminder that, they are still living this kind of life, and that they grew up in a dangerous life, and that they are, speaking their truths. And this is what they see and what they saw, and like the reality of who they are and what they are and where they were brought up and how, what their experiences of life are. Or were, or everything. So, and I'm sure it's not just, for like one person, right? Like this is happening all over the place. So it's just, it's interesting. It's a great song. I give it a 4.5 on 5.
Yeah, I think it's really like fascinating how each verse kind of flows into the next one, each being like its unique experience, but still kind of connecting into like this kind of bigger picture of what survival is in the many different elements of it. So like you said with Black Sea, just being alive in the hood, regardless, even like trying to like figure it out, everything's just scary and dangerous. And this whole thing, you think about getting a job and it's like, what's the point, like especially if like, I mean, I guess something else to consider in all the things I've considered is it really worth working for $7.65 an hour if you aren't supposed to make it past 25? Right? That's not like the same thing as, oh yeah, you can make money later. That's like you really only have now.
And like it could be that, that they see that their reality is that, oh, well, I'll never get promoted because they're never going to have a black man as the boss, or like things like that, like that sort of like overarching mentality that's just there is, kind of it does prevent, I'm sure, people from like even trying.
And people like playing the role of boss and big time players, but are squares, so people beware. Black Sea taking you through these motions, so I'm going deeper than motherfucking ocean. So listen and take heed, because the way is survival in SFC. And you get like the sense that he's like experienced the sharks and shit, and even when he tried to do it right, it's just wrong. And then in Mr. C's follow-up verse, it is a bit more about being a dealer. I would imagine that little thing. But really, it's kind of talking, I think, about how violent Frisco is, or how scary it is. Like I was talking about those gang maps before, and then like basically if you do have to go across town for something, which I mean I think about it, I go across town all the time. Imagine not being able to go past 4 blocks that way because you risk your life doing so. Anyway, and then he's like, because people my age is doing the peeling. That's 18 with a gangster lean. I sell dope because I never had dreams. And it's like, you just think about it, like they're 18 writing this shit.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
They're like a little bit like Nazi. Like they kind of like had like that like young Nas, like seeing like how shitty the world is, like kind of like that experience. Like that's kind of what I felt a little bit as well, like with with this.
And then just the audacity where it's like, you know, I never had dreams, but I'll fuck your bitch in different ways because I've been taught that. That's what I know to go do. And then, you know, the white man has him as an endangered species, etc. And it's fucking, like, you know, crazy. And then the song changes, content-wise, in verse 3. Like, here's the thing. We're doing all the serious stuff, and it's, like, really heavy. Like, when you drop that, like, it's 18, like, it hit me and shit. And you know what? I suppose it kind of adds like a degree of a survival element because if we're talking about survival, the next verse does make sense because it's something to teach people. But I was caught left field by the fucking Black Sea down to RBL Posse for you hoes that want to jock me. I'm the one that come out of Frisco that don't like pussy that smell like fish show. Like, what the fuck? Like, it is just so left field. Anyway, it makes sense though, because in part of survival, safe sex, AIDS epidemic. Right. Actually really good for the song.
Yeah. And I guess San Francisco probably was
Probably.
a pretty heavily hit by so
to
that.
make sure it's clean, he's got to make sure he's got the lubricated latex for some good safe sex. Then now it's on because he doesn't eat pussy because he ain't from Oakland.
Yeah.
Oakland guys eat pussy. Oakland guys probably got that deep throat
there.
shit going on. All I'm saying is those dudes who ate pussy back then must have had all the sex. Like, you probably could cheat on your girl if you ate pussy just for how grateful she'd be to have a guy that would eat pussy. All these dudes
I feel like
misplayed this shit.
I'm like, I wonder if they just like talk the talk and like, do they really walk the walk or do they like, you know, secretly go down on girls? I don't know. Or they're just like, no,
You make a girl appreciative. It's just a good time for you. It's facts of the game, yo.
Yeah.
Anyway, and his sex is the very best, blah, blah, blah. I'll have my Jimmy on arrival. It's the only way. And I'm like, oh, it does make sense, but it's just, you're going from drug dealing death to sex. And the way he starts off that verse is, I don't know what you heard about. That's how I felt with it. And then it moves into the real stuff. And then you get the last verse where a little bit, I'm like, damn, they really do love these long ass songs. Anyway, but it's a good one. Everything's got to be real. You got to take care of your shit. You got to watch out. You know, don't tell the girl that you're fucking your plans because there's bad shit. So it's real lessons. It's real life knowledge that he's dropping out. Keep your ass out the game if you don't know the deal. Don't be fucking doing some dumb shit. Have a clear head. Keep away from the base. That's cocaine. I believe it's coke. Freebasing, that was coke, I think. Anyway, shoot first and you won't get smoked. Fair enough. A public message to you from Kyle, sharing a piece or a part of survival. And I thought it was a real strong sentiment as far as the last track went, and real strong content-wise. Really just like, I'm left with like this huge sense of...
And they're being like more like personal by like using like their own names. Like, you know, a message from me, like who I am, like not just like the performer.
It was really dope. I felt like it hit me in the feels. Like it, and honestly, I'm so surprised by how good this album really, really, really is. So I give it a 4.5, and it's another great track. There is one more to talk about. Don't worry, we'll get back to the big conversation real soon because it's the outro.
Yep.
Thank you, person who worked on the project. Thank you, person who worked on the project. Thank you, person.
Thank you.
And
Thank
you are
so
awesome.
much.
And
Wow.
you're so wonderful.
Wow.
My boys.
Wow.
Yo.
Thank you.
And the female funk, you know what I'm saying? What up, bros? Yo, my boys
the
from
best.
Porter Hill, Valencia Gardens, you know what I'm saying?
My boys from over
Phil
here.
Mo.
My boys from over
Hey,
there.
RBL Posse and this motherfucker. We out right now, bitch. But most importantly, and this one is really cool, thanks to the sound engineer who had to put up with our shit. That was the one I really liked. Honestly, it's an outro. It's what it is, and it sounds fine. And I'm sure y'all love it. Who like the credits? Who want that credit scene? I'm never a huge fan of them. I understand their purpose in life. And politically speaking,
You can just put that on like the...
I may even add an outro like that one day to some project I make. Because it seems like a courteous thing to do, to put the credited liner notes on the album. It's just, I've never heard an album where I felt it was the right move for my pleasure of listening to it. Like J. Cole's 13-minute fucking outro. Anyway, 4 on 5. It's really nice beat. Couldn't care less about the thank yous after.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. It's just love and thanks and, shout outs to, like, all of the important people that had a hand in, the creation of this album, and names them all. And it's like, really, like, nothing is incredible. And it's just thanking everyone for, 2 minutes and 39 seconds. I would skip this every time. It's like it's nice, and it's a nice gesture that they want this on the album, and the people who are named are like, well, that's me, probably they're really excited or whatever. I don't really care about this. I gave it a 3.9 on 5. Like, it's fine if you like this kind of thing, but it's not what I would want to listen to. But yes, it's a decent outro.
I mean, if it's on in the car, I don't know that I'd always skip it.
I'd be like, nope, next. I would never listen to this.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the album as a whole for the quick wrap up.
All right.
Because of this outro, I gave the album a 4.45 on 5. Now, typically, I reserve my classics for like the 4.5, but here's the thing. It's the shitty outro that honestly gave it that grade. So, without that outro, it's an absolutely in the classic realms. It's just how it would have been. So, fair enough. I like the album. I think it's varied. I think the production's gritty. I think the nonchalance in their rap styles is so good to listen to. It's a lot of like what makes me like Griselda and other kinds of dudes who come from gritty places that have that no holds barred attitude about how you deal with them, but are also willing to share knowledge through parable and wisdom. Like, this is basically like Bible stories of street tales, right? So they're taking real life circumstances and whatnot and trying to create like almost cautionary tales of what to watch out for or how to treat. Like, yo, you want the women? Treat the women proper. Wear the Jimmy hat. Oh, you want to be a gangster? Understand the game that you're getting into. Yo, white people listening to this, our world is fucked up. Fuck the police. All that good shit kind of wrapped into an album. But there's so many topics, from drugs to sex to environmental conditions and to how their skill is. And like, I know when I boil it down, it's like those 4 topics. But like the way they deliver it across the album, it's actually just really well done, between just good bars, good story. I don't know. It is, and the beats are so varied, such an interesting use of different samples, and like that era when I guess sample uses was just more interesting before everything became illegal. Anyway, I liked it a lot. I don't know what else I can say.
I think it was pretty good. I gave this album a 4.38 on 5, so that's an 87.6%. I mean, it is really good, and there's definitely like some hits on here. There's definitely going to be some songs that I'm going to listen to again. Like, I will, go back to this. I think if you haven't listened to this album, give it a listen. It's not the longest one, but it's still like super fun, super chill. It's like, great for the summer. It'll put you in a good mood, while still being totally relevant to a lot of issues and situations that are still occurring today. So I think that I think they did a really great job. I would like to actually check out more of their stuff and see what else they did. I know
that there was at least something that dropped in 2014.
Okay.
So, yo, thank y'all for watching. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Carl, for requesting
it. Yes, thank you.
Thank all of you who hit that like button. Mm-hmm. Thank all of you who subscribe to the channel. Thank all of you who leave a comment that I'll answer, even if it's mean. Special thanks to the patrons: Milga Dempsey, Chris Prada, Jonathan Barnes, Linda Williams, DJ Black Hurricane, Scribble, and Carl, the man of the hour. They're dope. Support what we do, and if you like this format, we'll keep getting better as we keep learning more and stuff. But you can help support us in Patreon. Yeah, Patreon. I make music. Dropped a song today, so you can check that out. It won't be today when you watch this.
It's free. Just still play it and check it out.
No, let the ad play, please. That would be real dope. And then you can follow me on Spotify. That would be real dope. All these extra clicks, I know they don't cost money. So thank you in advance, and I would love to hear your feedback with some more clicks on the keyboard with the comment section. Appreciate y'all for real reals. Live long and prosper, everybody.
Bye, guys.